this episode of Slick Works. Jeannie's getting a paint job. First off, I'd like to show you guys this. You may have seen it in the background, but this is my new Econoline. So this is a 64 Ford Econoline. It's got 15 pieces of glass in it, 8 doors, a whole lot of cold steel and sex appeal. I've always loved these vans, and they look absolutely amazing when they're just slammed on the ground. I actually haven't even sat in this van yet, but I'd like to get it pulled out and turned around and put these grill shells on so I feel a little bit inspired. But there's something else, there's another pressing issue that I have to get started on. Don't you love that? They're just solid. It's got some full rust out in the back and some very interesting previous bodywork done to it, but the patina is beautiful. Like, I don't know if I'll ever paint this thing, just because, I mean, look at it. Awesome vans, super rare. You never see them come up for sale. So I had to snag it. It was a little pricey, but what isn't a little pricey these days? But why we're coming down to the shop right now is I gotta get the shop cleaned up because Jeannie, the Monte Carlo, is getting a paint job because I will have my first ever car show booth coming up at the Semi-Amu Car Show in White Rock. I don't know if you're familiar with the Lower Mainland, but it's gonna be a good time. All right, so the shop's all cleaned out. I just gotta get Jeannie right there. I think I can just, oh good, that worked. Okay, all right, time to keep going on this thing. She's looking pretty good. Oh, wait till you see her new color though. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna show you guys right now. So this is going to be like a 2-part episode, so maybe even a 3-part episode, I'm not sure. But so you won't get to see this color on the car this episode, I don't think, because I still got a lot of prep, a lot of repairs to do. There's a bit of rust and dents. But, are you ready? Look at that. That is going to look so good. There's greens, there's blues, there's metallics. Like outside, it's a totally different color too. It's even actually like a little bit greener than you can see on camera, but whew, it's called Jeep Bikini Blue. It's a gorgeous color. I just cannot wait to see it on the car. But of course, we're not gonna be able to see it on the car until I get to fixing this thing. There's a lot of damage, a little bit of rust down there. So there's quite a bit of work to do. This side's actually pretty straight and clean. I have a new fender for the other side because this got a little banged up, hit a pole or something. I can't take the credit for that one, but yeah. So I bought another fender, only this car has these rare little curb lights that if you just hold the indicator on, but the key's set to on, then that'll just light up. Which would mean I would have to cut that section out of that fender and weld it into that fender, which is a whole lot more work than just repairing the dent here. I don't have this piece. I don't think I can fix that. That's pretty messed up. But I might just pull them off this side, see how it looks. If I don't mind the look, then I'll just pull them off the other side too. But my first car, my first Monte Carlo, actually had the trim on one side, and on the other side it was pulled off. So maybe something similar happened in that car's life too. Alright, so I'm gonna get started on working on the car, and I've got my helper with me today. So we're gonna pull the quarter glass out, hopefully without breaking any clips or anything, so we'll see how that goes. So while Mrs. Slick's just getting the last bolts out of the glass on her side, This is what's left of the build sheet that I found underneath the back seat there. And all that you can really read is Lethbridge, Alberta, 2nd Ave and 8th Street South. That's where this car was delivered, and it looks like it was made in Arlington. So, Arlington, Texas. Yeah. Cool. Okay, we rolling? Okay, so the glass is ready to come out now. And these 80s GM, they always got like this super sticky, nasty butyl tape in there. So I wanted Mrs. Slick to film because it's probably gonna make a really disgusting mess. So we'll see how it goes here. It's gonna be gooey. Oh, not too bad. See all that stringiness in there? That's actually not too bad. Ooh. Okay, just kick it out with your foot. All right, get in there. Just get in and put some pressure on it and just kind of work your way around. I don't know how to get it out. You don't know how to get into the car? What? Through the big opening right there.
You can dust the cobwebs off?
Yeah, kind of work your way up so you don't bend the studs on the glass.
Got a sticky corner here.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on here. Here. Yeah. This is a sticky corner, eh? There we go. Yeah. So the butyl was not very good, or actually the paint prep was not very good. Because you can see that they did pull the glass out when they painted it, but the paint is just ripping right off, like I'm pulling off chunks of blue. So that's probably why my carpet's been wet for the past, you know, ages, ever. So we'll get that fixed up after we get it painted up, and we'll do it properly. So there's a lot of lead right there. That's one of the roof skin seams. This is the other one. I had to get all the lead out of there because lead goes on hot, obviously. You gotta use a torch and a wooden paddle to smoothen it out. So lead goes on hot, and you know, when hot touches cold steel, creates condensation. So there's always gonna be a little bit of rust eventually on anything that's leaded. They braze the roof skin on so that it flexes as opposed to welding, and then they lead over top of that. This seam didn't really have any lead in it. You could see the brazes, but there's just some really nasty body filler that I had to get out of there. Why I got to get all the filler and all the lead out, like I said, with the condensation like this here, you can see there's filler in there. So someone's gotten the lead out on this side, but not right here. So there's no filler in there at all. But you can see this big bubble. Get the light. Yeah, you see that? See, that's all bubbled out like that. So that's just rust that's forming between the lead, which is this part, and the steel. So that's all got to come out, and I'm gonna redo it with 2022 technology so that it'll basically last a lifetime. All lead. See, I can just pull it off, like super soft. And that is all orange rust underneath that lead. All this lead has got to come out of there. looks like that's the edge of where it's delammed. So I'll just V into that with my 36 grit disc and then grind out as much of this rust as I can. And then tonight, before I head in, I'll probably just give it a quick spray with some rust converter, and that'll just work its magic overnight, and all the orange rust will turn black, and then it won't be rust anymore. It'll stop the spread of rust. Okay, so it's the next day now. As you can see, all the rust has turned black. All these little specks of where rust could have started is totally neutralized. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So it's getting kind of late now. It's midnight, but I want to get started on this damage here. So that's quite a roll buckle. The thing is unlike most like modern cars, the splash guard in these cars, it like carries a lot of stuff. Like you see, there's a ton of like 12 mil bolts, as well as these that hold it in place to the fender. So I'll loosen these off, but I can't really pull the whole splash guard out because that's rock solid, and it carries a lot of different parts, like this reservoir for the radiators on there. There's just a whole bunch of junk on it. So instead of trying to pull the whole thing out and get in behind it with a hammer and dolly, which I'd like to do, but I'm kind of on a bit of a time crunch, so I'm gonna try to use my panel beater and tackle it from the outside as much as I can. So yeah, I'll probably just put pressure on it with the panel beater and then just work some magic with the with my different hammers that I have and see how much I can bring it out. Like it's a tall order, but all I can do is try, right? So I'm gonna start with the outside ring, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back, work to the center, and then deal with the tough stuff at the very end. So I started pulling this area out a bit. Ideally what I would want to do is that body line there, weld a plate onto there and then put a clamp on it and use a pull tower to suck it out, but I don't have a pull tower. I don't even have a slide hammer, so even if I could get under here, I don't know. I mean, I might have to go out and grab a slide hammer somewhere. But yeah, that is pretty darn kinked up. So yeah, it's not going to get it with the panel beater. There's just way too much work hardening in there, so I have to get in behind it somehow. So it's 12:15 at night right now, and my wife had a girls' night tonight. She just got in, but I just started my night now because I kind of promised myself I would get some panel bond, V out these cracks and get some panel bond in there so it could cure overnight. So that's dedication, concentration, no procrastination, some collaboration, and masturbation. Getting Chelsea all charged up for date night. Man, this thing sounds sweet. Also, Mrs. Slick's first install, of course. Beautiful steering wheel. This thing sounds nice. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna let that harden up over time. I'm gonna jump back over to this thing now. And I'm gonna try to get, I do have a slide hammer now, so I'm gonna try to get it underneath there and give it a few bangs and see what happens. Okay, so a friend of mine just stopped by for a visit. He was here for like an hour or something, so didn't film a couple steps, but I got the short strand fiberglass all sanded out. I was happy with where the steel was. So as you can see, the steel is brought back out. So now it's sitting in medium body filler. So I'm just gonna hose it down with wax and grease remover and check the reflections to make sure it's good. Okay, so let's see here. Hose it down. Might get some better light going the other way. Let's see, how does it look? Looks pretty good to me. Everything gets another skim. Even when I get it at this stage, I always give it another skim with the polyester filler. Just because it's microns thin and it blends out your sanding so well. But I would say that looks pretty good. Hit it one more time. Get it nice and wet. Yep, yeah, so there's a bit of a hump right there still. Might have pulled it out a little too far. But if I give it a nice big skim, I can soften that and it'll look great and it'll be ready for primer. Car gas, no tanks. Well, I'm back. Days later is what I've gotten done so far. So this side, the whole front clip is pretty much sanded out. There's a few spots that still need some filler. I did end up getting some easy sand, and this is just super wavy. Actually, I got a straight edge. I'll show you guys. Give you a bit of a visual here. So this is supposed to be pretty well straight, and that's not a very good visual at all. How about this way? Let's see. If we go down there, there's two big waves in it. So I had to buy some easy sand because I want to do it right. Because the polyester filler, I think it's okay for like little tiny stuff like that where it's really V'd out really well. But for flat faces like that, in the heat, and it's going to be such a thin skim that I just don't want to risk it bubbling up underneath there. But yeah, so front clip's all sanded out. This came out beautifully. Very happy with that. That's definitely ready for primer. And I've done some filling on the roof, and this still needs a little skim, hence the pink. But the roof's all filled up. Yeah, got to fill up the seams where the roof meets the quarter. I'll show you guys that. Pulled off all the window trim except for this one because it's really on there, and I managed to get the whole windshield, both sides, and the back and the back glass. I managed to not break a single clip there because I need to get in there so that I can fill this part up with some panel bond too. This is all going to get panel bond. It's like lead, but you know, brought up to this century. And yeah, the to-do list, the great to-do list. So for now, I've got some adhesion promoter on those two spots. So I'm just gonna get my Easy Sand, get in there and get to work. And also I have a special guest tonight. Hopefully she might make an appearance. We'll see. Still working away on this thing, doing body work, and I've just gotten the driver's side door down. I want to show you guys what the passenger side door looks like. Look at that. Ooh. Just messy, right? Look how bumpy and wavy and gross that is. Goodness. Now I'll show you guys this side. All right, 1 second. Get my trusty wax and grease remover here. Hose it down. And we'll check the reflections on this side. See how this looks. That's a bit better, eh? That'll do. Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. So any waviness, like up there's a bit of waviness. Pretty sure, yeah, that's just the wax and grease remover running. But that'll do, right? Pretty slick if I do say so myself. Another thing I wanted to show you guys saw that I finished this off with Easy Sand. I'll show you why. Like, it's okay to use polyester filler for tiny little bits here and there, but to do a full skim like that, it's pretty dangerous. And this is why. So, this here is your medium-bodied filler, or your Bondo, what people would think of as Bondo. You can see it just breaks like that, but it's pretty strong. This is a polyester filler. This is what you do the final skim with. This is what I used on my, also very strong, but it breaks. This is Easy Sand. You could curl this stuff up, and yeah, that bumper could flex as much as it wants to, and obviously your paint's gonna crack, but this stuff will never crack. I mean, you can't even get it to break. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so pretty serious stuff, and it sands really well too. Who'd have thought with a name like Easy Sand, right? Well, it's another night in the shop, and my buddy Jay Williamson, Ninja Ink, he finished my tattoo on my leg, so I won't be doing any bending down because it kind of hurts a little bit, as they tend to. So what I'm doing today is, now that my panel bond is cured up, I'll be sanding this stuff down, and I'm gonna fill it with some short strand and then some medium body filler, and finish it off with a skim of polyester filler, and then the roof will be ready for primer. Well, the U-joints are still intact, so we're just gonna go ahead and ignore that little dance. So here she is. The day has come. She is in the booth and ready for primer, miraculously. It's been a long run and taken a whole lot more time than I thought it would, but now she is pretty well straight and ready to be masked up. I think I'm gonna jack up the back end just so I'm not killing my back when I prime this thing. So I'll jack up the back end, get the body a bit more level, and yeah, we'll go from there. On second thought, it'll be pretty tough to prime the roof when this thing's jacked right up. Switches. Hey, Senior Slick.
Yo.
So I got my dad here. Dad's helping get the car all masked up and should be going into primer tonight, maybe? We'll see. All right, well, she is fully ready to prime. I just got the trunk key. I'm not really sure where to put that, or I'm not gonna lose it. Oh, you know what? I installed some built-in key holders. Right there, perfect. That's where we're gonna end this episode. I know it hasn't been incredibly exciting, but here's where it gets good. See, the next episode is when the whole car is gonna get flaked out, as well as all the lowrider patterns, candy, and the final color, which you guys saw, which will be laid down on the car. And then of course, reassembly after polishing all the chrome and whatnot. But yeah, that's a wrap for now. I gave myself 2 months before the car show. It's been a month already, and the car's only in primer, so I'm feeling a little bit stressed out about that, but my plate has just been packed full with life and my other business and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, if you guys liked what you saw, it's gonna be even better the next episode, obviously. So hit that subscribe button, follow along. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you liked it. And yeah, take her easy.